Hi, and welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm your host, Susan Baroncini-Moe. I am excited to welcome my guest today. My guest today is Shiv Khera. He's the founder of Qualified Learning Systems, Inc., USA. He's an author, he's an educator, a business consultant, an entrepreneur, and a speaker who encourages and inspires people all around the world. He helps people to realize their true potential. He's the author of 16 books, including the international bestseller that we are talking about today, You Can Win. And it has sold over 3.5 million copies in 16 languages. So I'm super excited to welcome my guest, Mr. Shiv Khera. Shiv, welcome.
Thank you very much, Susan. Looking forward.
Thank you for being on the show. So this book is amazing. And I mean, I read a lot of books, and I have to say this is one, if this is not, I mean, I feel like with it being such a big bestseller, it is a classic, but it should be listed among the classics because there's an enormous amount of wisdom in here. I've got pages book-eared, like dog-eared, I've got underlining, I've got notes, so much wisdom in here. And one of the things I really liked that you said in this book was that knowledge is piling up facts, which if you read a lot of books like I do, you can do. But wisdom is simplifying those facts. And I found that your book was super chock full of wisdom. Like every page, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, that, oh yes, I need to remember that. And so there was so much wisdom in here. But if you were to take this wisdom and distill it even further, what would be the most important sort of wisdom-based message for people that you would want them to hear from this book?
Well, there's a subtitle to the book, Susan, and that says, winners don't do different things, they do things differently.
Yes.
Since that is the subtitle, and I think that is the gist of life, when you said knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, and wisdom is really translating into action. Till then, it is only information. So really, it comes down to translate that and simplify it and put it into practice. That is what translates knowledge into wisdom. Now, these are nice quotations, but the bottom line really comes down to is put it into practice. Let me share with you, sometimes people do ask me, Shiv, do you practice 100% of everything that is in the book? Or do you practice 100% of what you do at your preach at your workshops? My answer is, no, I don't. Because I have, no, let me finish. I have not reached that level where I can say I have reached 100% of what I've written. But do I make 200% effort to practice every day? Answer is yes. Have I arrived and reached that point? Answer is no, I have not. So every day is a learning process. Every day is a process of growing. And somebody says, I've reached there, they're dead. I mean, only if you're green, that's the time you're growing. The moment you are ripened up, you're dead, you fall off. So bottom line really comes down to is that yes, every day is a process of growing. Every day is a learning process. I make mistakes. Do I need motivation? Answer is yes, I do, like anybody else. Just the way our bodies need food every day, our minds need positive thoughts every day to stay on track. Otherwise, we keep slipping back. That's really what the whole thing is all about. So people just look at you where you are today. They don't see the struggle behind where you are today. And I think that's a big misconception that people think you're lucky, and that's not what it is. But let me just elaborate, if I have your permission to go on.
Absolutely.
The subtitle which says winners don't do different things, they do things differently. So many times people ask, what do they do differently? And my answer is, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And what are the things losers don't like to do? They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway. See, losers don't like to get up in the morning. Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. So you see, they form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. It comes to them naturally. They form it into a reflex action. Because I don't care how old we are, our parents said the same thing, forward habits, and habits form characters. Because 90% of our behavior is habitual, we don't think, we just act. And if we have positive habits, we are a positive character. And if we have negative habits, we are a negative character. And good habits take a lot of effort to inculcate, but they're easy to live with. But bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us. So really, we are all creatures of habits. And if you look at people who have succeeded in life, you will find they have made it a habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And that is really what I can say to you.
That's fantastic. And it's so interesting that it's so interesting because I just put a video up yesterday about feeling fear, but doing the thing you're afraid of anyway. And I feel like you're echoing exactly what I was talking about. Like, we're so on the same page. That's great. So, one of the things you talk a lot about in the book, though, is that part of where you find the motivation to do these things and part of where you are able to marshal your inspiration and your motivation is through finding your purpose and your mission in life. And I know there are probably some people who are going to watch this video who are struggling to find their true mission in life. So how do you recommend that people do that? How do people find their purpose?
Well, first of all, most people don't even know what's a purpose. In fact, how do you define a purpose? See, a purpose is defined as a lifetime goal is called a purpose. Now, how do I find my purpose? Supposing I'm age 100 today, supposing I am, and if I were to look back at my life 100 years, what is it that I want to say is my accomplishment? That's my purpose. So a lifetime goal is called a purpose. And that is really, if I reach the end of my life and I look back my 100 years, what did I achieve? And what did I want to accomplish? That's really what our purpose is. And we have short-term goals, long-term goals, short-term 1 year, mid-term 3 years, long-term 5 years. Now, long-term goal can go beyond 5 years too, but generally, if you got 5 years of your life under your belt, and if you have achieved your goals 5 years, the way you want them, you've launched for the rest of your life. Really, 5 years, anybody's life, if you look at it, if they have really achieved what they are out to achieve, that's a launching pad for the rest of their life. That's all you want to do. Hit a 5-year gap, 5-year point.
Amazing. I love it. I've never heard it said so succinctly and so clearly before. And, you know, it is a question that a lot of people struggle with. So thank you very much. I only get to ask you 2 questions, as you know. So those are all my questions for today. But I want to make sure that people know where they can get this book, Amazon, all the standard bookstores, right?
Yeah, it's Amazon, primarily in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah. And you're not in the U.S. today, are you? You're contacting me you're in India, aren't you?
Right this minute, I'm in India.
Wonderful. Well, Shiv, thank you so much for being on the show. And we're going to have links to the book in the notes for today. So if you want to get the book, please do, because I'm giving it my highest official recommendation, which you guys know I don't do very often. So this is actually about to become required reading for most of my clients. Mr. Khera, thank you so much for being on the show, and I really appreciate it.
Susan, thanks a lot. Indeed grateful. Thank you.